All right, what up, guys? Welcome to this podcast episode where I sit down with Jason Ramshaw, one of the managing partners of Elephant Capital. They are probably one of the nation's largest commercial real estate wholesalers, and they specialize in mobile home parks. They both own, operate, and obviously wholesale a ton of deals. Wholesaling, for those of you that don't know, it's a particular way of middlemaning deals between buyer and seller. So one traditional route is to broker them, aka there's the seller, listing broker, buyer. A more common approach these days that I'm starting to see is wholesaling, which is where seller and wholesaler agree upon a price, and then he takes that contract and assigns it for a fee. Either way, you're kind of doing the same thing, but there's a lot of debate in the market as to what's ethical, what's not. And the process for how deals get put together that way is a little bit different than the typical brokerage process. Then we also dive into some of our processes on how we kind of position ourselves with sellers when we're hunting for deals, chasing deals, et cetera, et cetera. So before we get into the podcast, don't forget this is brought to you by MHPValue.com. That is my company. It does free evaluations for your mobile home park. So if you are a owner of parks and you are watching this, don't waste your time with some lowball offer or some broker that wants to overlist your property. Head over to my website, get a free evaluation, and I will help you out. Anyways, let's get into the video.
So the one time that I was circumvented, well, 3 times, but the first time, and we're on the phone just to get a deal done. It could take us 40 hours of bonding. Now that's a lot, but we put a lot of thought into it outside of the call, on the call. I mean, we'll listen to their cat stories for 4 hours sometimes.
Yeah.
To get that type. So I'm on the phone with this mom and pop. We get it under contract, and I do a soft run because we have a little different program. So I put it on Facebook as a market comp to see if I'm going to get any traffic.
Yeah.
Within 7 minutes of executing the contract and me posting that, the seller calls me. Someone screenshotted it and texted it to her.
Yeah.
And she's like, who are you? I don't even know who you are. Everything we talked about, you said you're buying this and now you're marketing it. I was like, ma'am, do you know who Frank Rolfe is?
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, the guy that teaches. I'm like, here's his cell phone. Call him. Just tell him what happened, and if you don't want to sell the park, no worries. If you still do, call me back. Calls me back in 2 days, and she's like, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
And so I called Frank. I'm like, Frank, what'd you tell her? And Frank's like, so what are you guys under contract for? And she's just like 1.2 or whatever it was. And Frank's like, okay, do you care whose name's on the check? And she's like, no. We just want to make sure we get our money. We don't know if we're going to get it. He's like, well, and I don't even know if we should put this online, but basically what he told her is, I would call Jason back and tell him thank you for planning for a contingency, because I know that he has 14 deals under contract, and if he's taking all of them and 3 of them fall in the same week or even the same day, and he has to make a decision, is he going to drop your deal or take it? Would you rather he had a contingency plan for you or just drop your deal and you have to start over?
Yeah.
And she's like, okay. So that squashed that.
Yeah. Well, I think we're the wholesale.
Brock Andy's a fucker too.
Yeah, but I think we're the wholesale / brokerage kind of clashing, because brokers hate wholesalers and vice versa usually. But I think it's because,
and I think we've both worked to try to break that stigma.
I know that's what I try and do too. But I know the traditional broker approach, and this is kind of ties to mindset, and I might cut this out, but
I would cut his name out.
Yeah, he's very when he's looking at it, he's like, well, let's say a property's worth $2 million, just throwing out a fake number. If one wholesaler gets under contract at 1.9 and assigns it for a $100K fee, or we get the listing and take a $100K fee, the seller's less likely to work with us because we're being transparent about the fee rather than not. But on the flip side, that's assuming the wholesaler couldn't take down the property And then that's also assuming that...
So you're saying the risk involved with a potential wholesaler, maybe track record or not, that there's, they're going into it not purchasing the deal, so there's a good chance that the deal's not going to get done one way or another.
Yeah, or another one is that, and I've thought this too.
This is good.
So wholesalers, but now
this is like talk that needs to go.
It is
happen.
Because here's the thing. So the thing is, this is where the confliction is that the seller wants what's best for them. They obviously want the highest dollar, right? One person's being transparent about the highest dollar, then the other one is just, oh well, you don't understand anyway, so I'll get under contract at 1.9 and assign it for $2 million. Both ways, the lady only nets 1.9, so it's the same regardless. But one person's being honest and transparent, and one person's not. That's assuming the wholesaler isn't being transparent. Now, I'm personally like...
So wait, who's the honest one or not?
I would say the broker, because they're being transparent about $100K take.
What they're making on the deal.
Yeah. Versus
I'll give you my perspective.
The wholesaler's hiding it. Now, I'm like, if they're okay with 1.9, who gives a fuck what you do with the rest?
Yeah.
That's my mentality. But I see the broker mentality too, coming from the broker side. But I also could be biased.
No, I don't think you are, because I had the guy from Marcus and Millichap working for me for a while, and that was the biggest hurdle.
Yeah.
How do we get over shifting gears from the broker mindset to the wholesaler mindset? And what does that even mean? And it's like, this flooded, I'm not even a flood zone, but we got like, St. Louis got 12 inches of rain in like an hour, which was like there was 2 inches of water down here. Okay. So I had to have this redone. He's like 50, right? Yeah. So it's hard for me in my 30s to, tell him anything he doesn't know.
Yeah.
And he takes me seriously, even though, he was with us for a reason, right? And not with Marcus for a reason, whatever that might be.
Yeah.
When he had the seller on the phone, and this is, and you can tell me if I'm wrong here, because this confirmed what I was thinking all along. If I was a broker and I was on the phone with John, and John's like, this is worth $3 million, and I'm penciling 2.2.
Yeah.
Okay, that spread of $800K as a broker, I feel, because you guys you get control of the deal longer.
Yeah.
With your listing agreement or whatever. Yeah. My timeline's a lot shorter.
Yeah.
Although we've extended it as to the best of our ability in the industry, I guarantee you that.
Yeah.
We're working with Ferd. But I guess at Marcus, and I don't know how other brokerage firms work, and people are like, why don't you go get your broker's license? I'm like, because I don't have to play by any rules.
Yeah,
like,
that's
I don't
a
have
good
to listen
thing
to
about
anyone.
It, yeah.
I'm under the table, and my point system is probably higher too.
Yeah.
So that's a benefit on my end.
So the brokers have a longer control of the deal, but you guys have a more likelihood on the front end because the seller's not under the perception you're taking a fee. They think you're buying it.
Yes. So
I think the control of the wholesale, the control of having it under contract is way higher significance than the brokerage listing, because it cuts out a lot of the bullshit, which I really like.
Well, and we have control.
Yeah, you have control. They want to get you full due diligence. Everything moves a little quicker. Now, I will say for larger deals, that causes an issue because I know a lot of the big groups don't want to play on a shorter timeline, so I get that.
And they also want earnest money before they deliver docs and things like that. And if I had to put down earnest money for
50 deals, yeah, you be
25 deals.
You be 500K.
What the hell?
500K every few weeks.
Yeah, but we wouldn't be right here. We'd be
we'd be
Route
in
66.
a shack, yeah.
So it's like, okay, as a broker, you're representing the seller.
Yeah.
As a consultant, I'm representing 3 people: myself, the seller, and the new buyer. And if I can't bridge the gap between all 3 of those relationships and bring this guy together with this guy who haven't met, but they both want the same thing, and I'm able to mediate that, it's a win-win for everybody.
That's why I think the broker versus wholesaler thing comes from. But it also could be the commercial world is very boomerish. Meanwhile, the residential world, this is commonplace. So I think it's just taking time for it to come into the commercial space as much. When you're a broker, fiduciary duty to the seller, I get it. And I see where the old school guys think that. But the problem is there's like wholesalers I know that...
That's where we couldn't get rid of his fiduciary responsibility to the seller.
Yeah.
Didn't it exist, though?
Yeah, on your guys' end. But I think that's where... Because it's like you guys aren't supposed to be selling real estate, but if you're marketing it on a public forum, it's basically like, all right, now you're competing against brokers. F you, snitch on them.
And for a while, Nick and I were like, we just want to keep our head fucking down because we do not want any brokerage firm thinking we're in competition. Because it'd be very easy for someone like to come in and potentially sabotage with the transparency that we market. But we do, I have deals that never go to Facebook. But go ahead.
So I know one young wholesaler that stays really under the radar. What's up, doggy? And he
Dukes, lay down.
So he targets like really desperate to sell mom and pops, and like he'll hit a $200K fee on, and this isn't typical, but like he'll try and hit $200K fees on like really small deals, like 50-unit deals, 40-unit deals, and he's ripping huge fees. And for him, it's like right before money goes hard at the end of DD, he always tries to retrade for an extra 50 to 75K.
To scoop it?
Just to scoop more fee out of it. And he does that regardless of what's going on with the financials, just because he's dragged their time long enough that they're kind of committed.
Yeah, now. We're tired. We want to get this done.
Yeah, so like that, I think that's where wholesalers get a bad rap too, because like you operate on the up and up, you're very transparent on your websites, like you're saying. But there's other wholesalers that like are really stay under the radar, and then they do the wrong thing, and that's kind of where.
And then they call me.
Yeah.
Or somebody they probably call me. They probably call like Keel first, and then it just trickles down. I'm the only one that answers the phone. And it's like, I'll give you time.
And Keel,
somebody helped me when I started. I had to rely on calling someone. Like, hey, what should I do?
Yeah, Keel does good with how he kind of separates his like disposition on the wholesales with that other guy.
4 brothers, Nick.
Yeah, Nick and what's the other dude?
I was talking to Nick today.
Yeah, Nick Marsh, but there's the other guy that they have that does like the...
John Corcone?
No, one other guy who helps with like the dispo. He does like the front end calls. But he's kind of like a bridge so it doesn't get back to Nick and... Or like he's like separated from them but really works for them. I forgot his name.
Okay. And then, okay.
I think that's like a smart way to go about it. Like I was So I was thinking about...
We do different dynamics with each of my guys that depending on how it works better, right?
I was thinking about getting more into the wholesale, and I kind of have Enon on board like this MHP Value branding, because I've been trying to argue we should start wholesaling deals to him for a while. And he noticed the traction I was getting with this separate type of branding. He was like, oh, it makes sense. Like if we wholesale, at least like give some separation. But I was thinking about getting even though I'm still a broker with Other Street, getting my face removed off the website and everything.
If I had to say anything about your website, like, first of all, how did you get that perfect fucking photo with the background removed? Where you're just like,
no, dude.
Like, how did that happen?
I'm gonna show you.
I'm looking at that photo and I'm like, how did he do that?
Dude,
well, I know how you did it, but like, how many selfies did they?
No, I'm gonna show you something funny.
Fucking shot.
If you pull up a website called Home Run Offers or homerunoffer.com.
Is that one of yours?
No, you're gonna laugh. So I had some inspiration to one of the guys that I follow.
If I take you, what is it? Home Run what?
Homerunoffer.com.
If I show you, and I'll show them to you upstairs or send them to you or whatever if we don't have time. But the blueprints.
So this guy just does a bunch of
It looks like you.
No, so he looks like me, except he does a lot of single family shit. And I'm like, he's like, well, my website, it looks cheesy, and he runs a TV ad.
It doesn't matter. That works.
So he's like, I got the best conversion with these old like sellers with this like cheesy
super
ad.
Friendly.
So I was like, oh my God, I should throw that too and just fucking do the same. I was like, all right, I can just do the exact same thing in mobile home parks. So let me just copy the website, because I'm sitting there trying to think of how to make my website look, and I'm like, what works? And I listened to his podcast, and I'm like, it works.
That's probably one of the biggest revelations that I haven't thought about, because obviously we're dealing with mostly mom and pops that
Yeah.
were around in the 70s and 80s. And if we go, like, just think about when you and I were kids, like 1990, watching commercials, they were horrendous.
Yeah, terrible, but
You
they
know?
like that cheesy
And
kind
so
of
they're
90s,
used
80s.
to that.
Yeah, they're
but
like,
we're thinking, like, how can we guerrilla market, like, on top of everybody else?
Yeah.
Not necessarily those tactics aren't effective on those older people. They don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
It's white noise to them.
Yeah. So to give you an idea,
That
like,
makes sense.
I get at least one sign up a week from that now. So almost all of my I got to sign up today while I'm just driving the road, and then a guy sent full financials P&L with cold without me talking to him ever.
Okay. So what's your SEO like? How would he?
I don't do any SEO. Everything is purely my email blasts, text blasts. So I do a big pull from Reonomy.
It's all a numbers game, right?
Yeah, I do it.
We got to tie up 10, lose
8,
and then close 2, and do it again.
Yeah. So I just have the email blast, the little YouTube videos, the text blast that I do, and that's like where almost all my leads are coming from since the beginning of this year, because I'm just going all in with the marketing shit.
So you're getting a majority of your leads through those outlets.
Yeah, all inbound without me cold calling. I still call them and I'll have to pitch them once the lead.
Sure.
I think.
Do you think that you can optimize that where it could support a steady?
Yeah.
So Kasim Aslam owns Solutions 8.
Yeah.
He approached us, I don't know, last year, and he's like, I'm going to run this Google thing. I'm working on, he's the number 3 SEO guy.
Yeah.
He said, I'm going to market it to guys trying to sell their parks.
Yeah.
We're going to forward you all the leads. 350 in like 90 days.
Yeah.
Nuts.
Yeah.
Some of them were just people trying to sell homes because they were confused about his link.
That's the problem I have.
Some of them were parked.
Yeah.
One of them was Riley's.
Okay.
But then I saw his ad. And if I saw an ad on Google that was like, click here if you want to sell me your park. Like me personally, that wouldn't be my first go-to, right?
Yeah. So
that would be my last go-to.
So I have a thought on what I'm going to do. I think the stagnant Google ads are not high enough converting. So the meta, like the wave that's coming through other asset classes and other guys who dominate the social media space, is short form video ads that are very targeted and direct, and the person that they're working with is that guy. So Ryan Pineda, Grant Cardone, Rod Cleef, all these guys, when they're Ryan Serhant, when
Grant's
they're
killing it.
Yeah. So they do a direct talking ad that attacks the pain point. My pain point that I'm going after with MHP Value, maximize your value, I'll tell you what your park is worth, is that
I'm going to give you an honest evaluation.
Yeah, honest evaluation. Tired of a cold caller and all these lowball offers. I'll tell you what it's worth. If you want to list it, here's my brokerage team. If you want an immediate offer, I'll write it up right now. I like the MHP Value because it bridges that gap like we were talking about. So it's like, I'll give you a free valuation.
I love it.
Yeah. So if you're a seller who needs to get rid of this in 3 months, here's your offer. If you're willing to wait for the highest offer, let us list it. Now, I've still been going to listing pitch.
And I'll use that hybrid.
Yeah. So I think,
especially if I'm ousted or I feel like they're in a forum, then I'll just straight up tell them, hey, here's my track record.
Yeah.
Here's what we've done. Like, there's a 92% chance or 8% chance this isn't going to work out, but you got nothing to lose.
Yeah.
And then on the flip side, it's funny that you say, like, well, if you're getting 900, like, you're getting 900 and that's it. So it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
From our end, if I need to get to that objection or they bring up that and I have to overcome it, it's like, all right, so you want 1.2 and you might list it and you might list it. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just curious, like, how much is the fee if you list it? So you be at 1.9 and then you're going to pay your We're
100K,
125.
yeah, say
And
100K to make the math easy.
Yeah, so I'm like, you don't have to do that, and we just do 850.
Yeah.
Okay, that's pretty simple for them.
Yeah.
They're like, well, yeah, I don't have to go through anything else, no problem.
Yeah.
So, but my personal, and I didn't finish this thought, like my personal beliefs, I don't know if we should put this on there, but it's like, I know some brokers, and one of them because he worked for me and I watched it.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Like, it's just, he'd rather put it under contract. There's no negotiating almost on his part.
Yeah.
There was hardly gathering DD. I'm like, what did they make you do at Marcus? You know, he's like, this is how much I made. Well, that wasn't the case.
And brokers just shaft everyone commissions.
Yeah, he's like, he had to pay for his food, and like, he didn't get any travel reimbursements. I'm like, well, why are you going to the parks then?
Yeah.
I've been to maybe 3.
I know, dude. Everyone loves traveling. I every deal I've done. Let's say the ones I've done, like soup to nuts myself, about 12 of them now. I've only seen 2 of the parks.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Like, I've never seen fucking half the parks, and now I'm starting to drive them because I want to get into buying. But
if you're like me, you do deals all over. I do deals all Pennsylvania.
Like, if the numbers make sense, like, fuck it.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
You know, and back to the broker thing.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck it. We'll put it under contract for 2.5. We know it's only worth 1.4.
Yeah.
We're going to hold on to it. This might be wrong, right?
Yeah.
Hammer them with offers, like, because you already know what's going to come in, right?
Yeah.
1.5, 1.8.
Yeah.
And is the goal just to beat them down until they're so tired that they actually get... Because sometimes, like, if you're dealing with an illogical person, even I say, sir, sit down at a table. Do you have a piece of paper and a pencil?
Yeah.
Let me walk you through what the bank's going to... How the bank is going to look at this.
So let me give you the brokerage.
And
they still don't believe it.
Well, this commercial land next door. Okay, that's great. I'm not in that business, but here's what I would do then.
Yeah.
I would kick all your residents out, like get all the homes out, and then sell that land.
Call the same developer.
Yeah.
If you want to do all that, have at it. Yeah.
Well,
I can't kick them out. I've known them for 17 years.
Okay.
So then you're not going to sell it to them. Yeah. This is what I think so why you see brokers do that a lot is I think the way that you maximize the value, and Capstone does this really well. If you're in an upward trending market, you overlist the property and it sits on market, they actually might get a higher price as it sits if it's an upward trending market. Now, downward trending market,
example of a upward trending market.
Pre-COVID and a little bit through COVID, it was like when interest rates went from 4 or 5% down to 3%, and now values went up 10% across the board. If someone didn't or overlisted 8 months before that, sat on market, extended the listing, they actually probably did net more than they would have in the beginning. But I will say this, like,
still a gamble, no way to tell for sure.
Still no way to tell for sure. Yeah, I was thinking if I'm a seller, right, and I'm going to use a wholesaler, I'm going to go through this buyer or I'm going to list my property. The only way I'm going to list my property is if someone's telling me they could get above what it's worth and at least try.
Which would be any broker.
And then after 4 or 5 months, the market spoke, I'll take a real market offer. So I think that's why brokers have to do it, because if you're not trying to get them more than it's worth, why get a broker? Because if you'll just get me what it's worth, this guy's willing to pay me.
Yeah, I mean, the pitch is like, I'm going to get you more. I'm going to get you as much. I'm going to work hard for you.
I know it's worth $2 million. I know you want 2.5. I'll try and get 2.5, but listen, after 3 months, we got to price drop it. And like that's kind of how the pitch goes. And I see that. I don't do that pitch. I just tell them this is what it's worth. If you want to list it for this, all right. And I know that they'll stay in with me. So it's kind of like what
because we got the bond.
Yeah. So
both people like once we have them, they're with us.
Yeah, I just think the listing thing is too inefficient, because to give you an example, like our OMs, like everyone's OMs is a total fucking waste of time. Like
I lead with that and I say, hey, listen. They're like, do you have the projections? I'm like, listen, my job is to show you what's happening on the ground today.
Yeah, fuck.
And you can figure out where you're going to be, because this is not a 67 cap on day 3.
Yeah.
Unless you infill 76 homes
and
then put tenants in them and then sub meter the water like on day 3 and you do all that, then that's a steal. I get it.
Yeah. Like, even our own packages, man, I got to scroll through 4 pages of bullshit just to see what the fucking utilities are. And I'm like, guys, we don't need the fucking.
I laugh a lot.
We don't need these 4 pages here. Like, I can't, like, so I'll be on the phone and someone's asking me what are the utilities and breakdown for this, right? I can't even find it myself on our own package.
And nobody's like, is there a park nearby?
Yeah, yeah.
But that's like page 2.
Yeah, it's like, yeah. So it's like fucking
beautiful
like,
children's slide like 2 miles away.
I can't even find. Yeah, all the dumb shit. Like, oh, like there's
a museum.
Yeah, there's a museum and Disney just did this down next door, and it's like, guys, where's the current rent?
Yeah.
Like, what's the occupancy? I don't
Lot
give a
rent's
shit.
$250 and Disney's $380.
It's like, thanks.
So yes,
didn't I need to know. So yeah, that's like, this is what I hate about the broker stuff, but I do see the anti-wholesaling part too, coming from a broker though. But that's because I'm like,
I like to hear this because I haven't, aside from what Jeff told me, I really haven't talked about honestly and openly, besides with like Parker, Kelly, and Dustin Wilmer. And they're kind of where you're at. Like, they're friendlies.
Yeah.
And we all get along, and I have no problem sending them anything.
Yeah.
I'm not scared to do that. But then there's other brokers that are. He was on me on 2 deals, one in Kentucky and one in Illinois. And he followed up with me. He had all the DD. Illinois, I ended up having to kill because I lapsed the timeline. Kentucky, I had assigned twice, and both times EM had went in, and both parties pulled out because of electrical pedestals, like, all need to be replaced.
Yeah.
The second I've released them, and he has the audacity to call me, like, and he's like, hey, I'm under contract on this park in Illinois. What do you think of? I'm like,
I showed you this one. Yeah.
Not only that, but we've talked about it 50 times. Like, what are you? What's happening? Are you? Did you get some good shrooms or something?
Yeah. Well, let me tell you an interesting.
He's like, I'll pay you something for it. Like, you could have just taken the deal from me. You literally, and he's a broker.
Yeah.
Real estate broker. I'm like, you understand what you just did? Nick wants to go get him. He's furious. I'm like, you with just fuck it. Like, I got too much to deal with.
Yeah,
right now.
that's how I feel too.
I'm gonna keep moving.
Stay busy. Fuck it.
Yeah, like, I blocked him from Facebook. Like, you're not gonna see my shit anymore unless you create a new account.
Yeah. Dude, my so a thought I had. So, and I was telling Enon this. If I'm
I brought that down to.
Sorry.
No, it's all good.
If I'm let's say I'm trying to wholesale, right, and then we had other sheet brokering, and this would be like an interesting kind of partnership to like go at stuff. Is that whoever gets the pitch first? If they want to end up going with the buyer, wholesaler, me, or they want to go with one of our other street broker pitches, we could hit it both ways in the sense of if they decide to list for an unrealistic price just to win the listing and they don't stay with us and they back out of the listing or it expires, then I go in with a real offer as a wholesale deal. So we still have the deal.
So you start out and then convert.
Or...
And I go the other way.
Yeah, or what I could do is I get under contract. If I can't successfully assign it, they're probably tired of tire kickers. You could hit them with the broker pitch. And that's what I was telling Enon. We could do both, so it like doubles our conversion rate because it's like we could hit him with this side or we could hit him with that side. Now
that's what good came out of having Jeff work for me.
But now maybe the DBPR is like anti that or whatever fucking agent.
I don't even know who they
board.
are.
I don't know who they are either. But I mean, apparently that's.
I don't ever talk to them.
Apparently it's not above board, but I don't know. I don't keep up with it. So, question for you: how
Hold that thought.
All right, yeah.
So on the pitch thing, what happened with this guy? He just couldn't get away from. Okay, you want 1.8, and then like I gave him the freedom to just write it up.
Yeah.
And then send it to me.
Yeah.
Because he wouldn't listen to me anyways, and I'm like, whatever. Like, it's another body. It's more deals coming through. I'll take it. I'm still hanging on to like 4 of those deals because they're so overpriced. They're priced at where the seller wanted them, and not even close. So I get on the phone with them. I'm like, I just want you to hear me do like 3 calls, hear what I say, and then see if it changes. It did help a little.
Yeah.
Because he just wasn't confident in either the pitch where we don't necessarily have to come out and say like, yeah, we're buying this. Like they don't ever say, are you buying this?
Yeah.
Maybe a savvy guy would if he's got 300 pads.
Yeah. But the whole time he'd just be saying, would you take this and send him a contract? I don't know what the fuck.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter. And I genuinely have interest in their park, and I tell them that. And I do.
Yeah.
Whether I buy it or I use that money to go buy another park, like I have interest in this park. Like it's a moneymaker for me. This is my business. Yeah. So I'm not, that was a big issue for me in the beginning. I'm like, Nick, I've been working for myself since I was 22. Lot of sales. I've been on commission since I was 22.
Yeah.
So, but I ethically, I was like, I don't understand how we can do this, and how do I, I don't want to lie, just straight up lie every single phone call. And he's like, no, you're interested in the park. That was a mindset shift. But when heard me, any deal that was under 30 pads, he would just put notes in the CRM, like, called them, no answer. Called them, no answer.
Yeah.
Until he was able to defer the lead permanently. Well, when he left, I went back to his deferred leads and just audited a couple of them.
Yeah.
No, never heard from us. They had set an appointment with us. I mean, there's 30 grand on the table. Yeah. For him, that's 10 grand. I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but if you do it 15 times, it is.
And those smaller deals are kind of easy
to persuade. They keep you alive.
Yeah, they're easy to get the seller over the hump, too.
In between the home runs.
Yeah, way less competition than the fucking 100-unit shits.
And he still couldn't grasp that. And so he banked on Riley's. And when Riley's didn't close, he's like, I'm not making enough money. And I'm like, you're not calling enough free, warm leads that I've given.
So are you guys getting most of your leads inbound through the internet SEO?
No. I cut him off because he failed.
Yeah.
You just, too many of the, out of about 300, there were maybe 20 deals worth. Okay. That's really that's bad. If you get 300 sellers on the phone and only 20 and 180 of them just have a mobile home.
Yeah.
And then only 20 of them have actually like not a park that only has one pad, one home and 80 pads, right? Yeah. So that I'm like, listen, whatever you're marketing, if you could show me, I could probably help you tweak it.
Yeah.
Because you're definitely getting traffic from somewhere.
Yeah, it's not.
Cut him off.
Yeah.
For a while, and I had an agreement.
Yeah.
And any like overflow would come our way.
Where does he get his leads from? What does he do besides the
6
podcast?
South African VAs.
Oh, that just called.
That are like fully fluent, and they can actually, they can do that. They can fill out that sheet.
Yeah.
So they're smart enough to talk about the park
and get the lot brands, the basic shit like the.
Even a little bit beyond basic, so that you could just hand it to you or me, and we could be like, all right, so we're going to call them, and this is, if all of this adds up, then this is what we're going to do. And these South African VAs are wonderful.
Yeah.
Which this girl was like, do you have any work? Because I have like 13 friends. I'm like, I'll take them all.
Yeah.
And then called me, and he's like, don't try to steal my people. I'm like, bro, I'm not stealing your people.
Yeah.
Like she said her friends needed work.
Yeah.
I have work.
So what's her number? I'm kidding.
Caitlin McCosh. I'm like, I would. She's wonderful. She'd be an all-star.
Yo, does not like Other Street? He definitely doesn't. He doesn't like us. I know he doesn't because he never responds to any of our.
So he's never said like, I don't like Other Street. He and I have talked about brokers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Especially like, even though nobody like really posts anything in that group.
Yeah.
It's okay because it's not for that. It's to hold everybody accountable.
Yeah.
He was I would say anti-broker.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know if he's anti-Other Street.
Okay. Because I know Enon's butt has a lot of guys, and for some reason we've never been able to get to like meet up. Or,
even with me, when I had his leads, well, I still have some hanging. You know, how many did they give us? Maybe like 150. And then they were pretty bad, right? Where I was like, I don't even have time to like call this one. I don't want to defer it permanently for you. So I'm gonna contract out these shittier deals of your shitty deals.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna daisy chain up the money all the way up to you. And he's like, all right, fine.
So how often do you guys daisy chain stuff? Like, and when I say daisy chain, like I'd say 2 to 3 wholesalers involved. Is it pretty often?
No. I would say the email that I sent you with those
those like
6 Texas,
7,
5 Texas deals, and one of them's new. So that's actually a good deal. That's like 100 pads.
Yeah, the Texas I don't have any go-to guys for, but the Asheville I have it in front of a handful right now.
Yeah, that's your region.
Yeah, North Carolina, like right off I know who the buyers are usually.
Let's go look. We don't have to do it right now, but
Yeah.
we'll go look at the pipeline because there's like another 20 from North Carolina, and I have like 8 or 9 PSAs coming back, and I have like 4 under contract in North Carolina. One of them being Asheville.
Dude, the NCs I could tell you
Cap rates are great there compared to Texas.
Yeah, definitely. But I could tell you who the buyers for all of them were, like a price per pad that it'll trade at, like without a lot. The cool thing about North Carolina, a lot of the times current financials don't matter. A lot of the big players like Ryan Norris, their lender will lend on it.
They'll lend on park on home income.
Park on home income, and they'll lend on year one where they take it because their track record. So Norris gets that, Chris Ebert gets that, Adam Martin gets that. So like regardless of what the financials are, if it's really in their areas, they could just pay a price per pad, write up a contract and go, or in your case, a sign or whatever.
This thought's just stuck in my head from that previous broker conversation. So
Yeah.
the hybrid model that developed after Jeff, during Jeff, and after we parted ways. I learned by listening to him the habits he developed over 30 years as a broker.
Yeah.
It was very insightful for me because I could look at that, and then I could look at what we did, and I could say, what's the best of both worlds?
Yeah.
And how can we merge it? It was exactly what you're doing. And I hope I played a role in inspiration by like blasting just a stupid ass amount of deals where everybody's like, who the fuck is this asshole with elephants?
So
Like, where's he getting all these deals from?
Yeah.
Most people are like, are you even under contract?
Yeah.
I'm like, here you go.
yeah, it's funny in your DD blast, you include the contract too, so everyone knows.
Why would I not?
Yeah.
So I know another.
Because other wholesalers try to pretend like they don't want to say what
They'll
they're...
blackline the contract
Yeah.
price.
Yeah. And it's kind of like, dude.
That's shady.
Yeah.
I mean, first question out of my mouth if I was buying that park, I'd be like, listen, I'd say, hey,
I'll blur it out.
I'm totally cool. Yeah, please.
Yeah.
I'm totally cool buying this property. Just a little confused why you blacked out the purchase price on the contract. I know I'm paying you a fee.
Dude,
But this one in particular was $300 markup.
yeah. On like a fucking,
And,
what,
and I just
deal or
watched
some
them
shit?
go like, price reduction, $75K.
Yeah.
Like, then 2 weeks later, price reduction, $75K. I'm like, that's going to turn everyone off. You can do one price reduction or two, but not 300,000.
Yeah. It's like, so what kind of spread are you trying to fucking assign this at?
I'm like, it's not even.
Yeah, it's like.
Then he told me if you get a buyer, just get your fee from them. I'm like, on top of your 300,
bro, he fucking told me.
Fucked.
Dude, he's like his deals. He sends me a whole write up today, right? Like he's like, oh, God first and trust with owners, and it's like you're trying to rip 500K equity from Sally Sue down the street. Like,
I've seen that.
Yeah,
I was like, you had 300 grand on that.
Yeah.
You drop, and then you call me like, can you please help me with this? And I'm like, not if you're blacking out contracts.
Yeah.
No, I'm not. I can't do that.
Yeah. So he said. So even
I want them to know, like, here's the fucking contract. This is what I'm under contract for.
Yeah.
Here's everything I got for you. You're at day 30. You have 60 left.
Yeah.
You're welcome. And, I'm sorry you couldn't find one on your own.
Yeah. This is my fee.
I found it for you. Yeah, this is my fee.
Yeah. So he sends us a whole write up for his thing. He's like, on like a $2 million deal. He's like, I'll pay a $25K fee, but try and get it from the buyer first. And he sends it to Rob on our team because Rob talks to them a lot. But since Rob was working in Ohio, he copies me on it. Or I was working some Ohio D at the time, so copies me on it. And I just read that. Why the fuck would we do this for a $25K fee? Like, I was like, first, like, he asked me to get it from the buyer. Like, what do you want me to work for free for you? Like, the fuck is this? Do you think I just don't do deals?
Yeah, like I don't have to.
Like, you think I don't have like better paying things than this? Like, fuck. But it was funny.
At that point, I'm like, I would find it funny to draft up a contract and be like, okay, no problem. And then next thing you know, in his Adobe sign, it's like, Jason Ramshaw will market this. Within the next 48 hours, you need to deposit $3,000 earnest money to his fucking bank account, and it's non-refundable. Yeah. And then
he's a funny guy.
Calls me back of it. But I mean, that's something I would do because I just think it's funny, and I do this all the time. So it's like, I'm gonna have fun if you're gonna be an idiot. It's a standard earnest money deposit.
1%.
So everything's blacked out on the contract with the earnest money.
Oh, so you can see like.
I'm like, hey, what's the earnest money deposit? 1%. Okay, so what are you under contract for? If you're gonna black it out, black it all out. Yeah, because I know where you're at. You're 300 over.
Yeah.
And you're gonna make me look like a fucking asshole.
Yeah.
To anybody that ever finds out about this.
Yeah.
And they're, but whatever. But again, I do think integrity is a huge role. There's a lot of people, again, that's what I was worried about. I would hate it if someone said, hey, someone from Elephant Capital did this.
Unrelated, and this is kind of like personal skill set you have. Me doing the buy pitch on some of these, because I haven't fully jumped into a wholesale thing, but on a few deals, I'm talking to them as a buyer. And these are deals I genuinely do want to buy too, which is interesting. But I haven't even thought about how I'd raise the capital or anything, but I feel like I could find it if the deal's
We can find it.
Yeah, I feel like if I made 100 cold calls to like a bunch of contacts I knew that would buy
we
it.
could just call like 6 guys, show them the deal.
If it works, it works, yeah.
And,
I'm curious, like with you, and I saw this in how you moved on Caesar's little thing that in St. Joseph or whatever that you sent the offer to.
I tried. I got a verbal.
Yeah. Are you always moving that quick? Like, are you like, they tell you a number, you're like, I can hit it, here's the contract? Like, do you move that quick? Because I feel like you got to kind of...
Yeah.
Maybe it's my brokerage.
No, that quick.
Yeah, because maybe it's my brokerage thing where I fucking slow roll and stuff. But I was like, oh, you just give them what they want. Meanwhile, us, it's like I got to...
Well, he was already primed.
Yeah.
Okay, so you had talked to him. I didn't even know what was going on. I thought you guys were calling me like to help move it.
Yeah.
And I was down for whatever. And then he would, Cesar?
Yeah,
Cesar. And then he kind of told me what was going on, but he was kind of hesitant to, because the whole time I was having the conversation with him, like, all right, what do you guys want from me? Like, you need me to market this or push it out? And then he had a hard time, I guess, just flat out telling me like, oh, we were looking to see if you guys wanted to buy this. Which I was totally cool with. I'm like, yeah, we're going to look at it anyways.
Yeah. I feel like me and you are the type of guys to like overextend ourselves to like hit it big, Yeah.
Yeah,
100%.
But you have to.
Yeah. He's cute.
Now, do we have to do it to like the extreme that maybe we've historically done it? Probably not.
Probably not, yeah.
Is it good that we're aware of it already? Yeah. At least we know it.
Yeah.
And I can look back and be like, man, I shouldn't have done that, shouldn't have.
Yeah.
Still now, like, do I need to go out to dinner every night? No. I should get food and like cook for my daughter.
Yeah.
But I'm a single dad. I'm like hustle grinding every day. I'm going like, we're going to eat.
Yeah. Like we ain't got time to cook. Hey, Alex Hermosi says it's not worth your time to cook. I don't know if you listen to that guy. He's on YouTube.
I don't.
You're just head deep in work all the time.
No, I listen to a whole bunch of shit. Just not. I'll look him up.
He's good. He's not real estate though. He's like the whole like private equity. VC.
All right, that's it for this podcast. Don't forget, like and subscribe. New real estate videos coming out every Monday at 8 p.m. I'll get back on the vlogging schedule for next week and be on the lookout for more podcasts.